Welcome to Almost Alphabetical Aurelion Sol. My name is Diaversai, and in this series we're going to go through a run of Aurelion Sol with every champion in roughly alphabetical order. So for the first one we're doing Aatrox because he is the first, and for his relics we're going to be using Crown Guard Inheritance, Stalker's Blade, and Disciple of Shadows. Other good relics you can use are the Beast Within, which is up here somewhere. You could use Starforged Gauntlets with Luminous Orb to make him Titanic and get +1 mana. I tried Corrupted Stark Fragment, it doesn't seem that necessary. Portal Pels also seems just like win more, not very good. Let's see what else. You could use 2 Stalker's Blades if you wanted. You could use Berserker's Buckle, Bounty Hunter's Renown. You have a lot of options, and also like the Troll King's Crown for Overwhelm is also pretty nice. So you have a lot of options here. This is what we're going to be going with. For constellations, mine has the 6-star power. 4-star power gives +2/+2 when allies have equipment. 2 equipments also that you acquired adventures have Phage. World Ender has -6 cost. Each Darkened follower has an item, and when you summon or transform a Darkened, double its stats. So if you have a 3-star, you're gonna have a lot less stats to work with versus what I have going on here. So your games will be slower and they're going to be a lot less safe. You're going to be able to take less attacks. Out of all of those powers, I actually think the 4-star power is the most impactful. Just giving +2/+2 when your allies are equipped is a huge boon. If you want to know more about Aatrox in general and the kind of relics and powers I suggest, I made another video that is his champion profile, going over what I think about him and what I would use and those kind of things, also strengths and weaknesses. And this is just going to be a run through, and we'll talk about some of the things that are important. So for your starting power, Round Start Rally is great, Triparian Bite also great. Just gonna go ahead and pick Domination here. And then we'll go into Gangplank. So for this first fight, I'm going to talk a little bit more than I normally will, just to let you know kind of what I'm thinking when I make choices. So here, you're going to want to have a low-cost unit and a low-cost equipment. 1-1 is kind of your ideal setup here. I kind of prefer Steadfast Elnuk to Forsaken Bakai. I think he's a little bit more durable here, and so we're going to get rid of the Darkened Aegis and Forsaken Bakai. And keep the Darkened Staff and Steadfast Elnuk. I really like the Darkened Staff. Refilling 1 spell mana is good. You can use spell mana to play equipment, so it's extra good here. You'll notice that because of 2-star power, you create 2 equipment in hand, and that can cause some space issues. As you can see, we played 2 cards, so we're at 8 cards in hand just to start with. So if you have an unplayable unit, then that's going to take more hand space, and that's pretty much the only time you have to worry about hand space with this deck. And here, because of Disciple of Shadows, we're able to drop Aatrox. He also got cost reduced from our attack with the Steadfast Elnuk. So how this deck works is you equip things, and then when you attack, you reduce the cost of a card in your hand. So what you want to do is reduce the amount of cards in your hand that aren't World Ender or Aatrox, so that when you take these attacks, those cards aren't getting reduced. So here we're going to reduce. We got 1 on World Ender, which is great. We got 1 on the Darkened Aegis, and then we got 1 on Violent Discord. So if we had hit on World Ender more than once, we would have been able to play it already. Again, because of the Chalice of Harmony constellation. So we can't do that here. and so we just have to skip turn. The Darken units, or the Darken equipment, can be played as units. The Darken Aegis becomes Dorel, and I don't know how to get into the Darken Staff here. There we are. The Darken Staff becomes Balkooks. Yeah, so that's just something to keep in mind. And Aatrox's champion spell is Deathbringer Sweep. With it, you can strike an enemy, and they strike you back. So if you don't have the 6-star power, your Aatrox will drop with significantly less health, and so using a spell like that on Gangplank would have been impossible without that. He's also being boosted from Arm to the Teeth. He does have regeneration, so you can use it up until you don't have health anymore, and then you'll regenerate that in the next round. Right now we can use the World Ender, and let's go ahead and show what that looks like. So before you use World Ender, you do want to make sure all your units are equipped. Doesn't really matter here because we're going to win either way. But when we level up Aatrox, everything equipped with a Darken equipment will transform into their Darkened versions. Again, these have double stats because of the 6-star power. And normally these would be much smaller. So like Dorel is like a 5/4, so he gets bonused from Arm to the Teeth, and then that doubles with the 6-star power. And you just attack, and you win the game. By the time you get to this point, which again will take longer if you don't have the Chalice of Harmony on your World Ender, by the time you get to the point where you're transforming everything, the game is pretty much good even if you're only at 3-star. All of your power is kind of in that little end part. When you're picking cards, yeah, I mean, you have some choices. You can take something like Celestial Wonder. This will help in your late game against Aurelion Sol. Probably don't want Scuttle Guys to cost too much. And you can take equipment. One of the problems with taking equipment is that it'll just... You want a lot of your deck to be units so that you have something to put that equipment on. And so if you take too many equipments, then a lot of the times you won't have a unit to play it on. And also those equipments can cost more than your mana. So here I'm going to go ahead and take this Boxtopus for 2 reasons. One, he has Vampiric Scepter, so that'll give us a little bit of healing if we need it. And also he has a Fortune Croaker with Crystal Carrier, so we get that extra mana gem, and that'll help. I don't really care about Tahm Kench. Actually having him with Farsight Alteration, that's probably a negative. But I think it's better than these other choices that I don't want to spend my rules here. I'd rather spend them on powers. And so we'll go for the champion item chest. I like that better than gold chest or item chest. And Swain versus Tahm Kench. I think Swain is a little bit easier. Tahm Kench with Perfected Mana Flow is going to be able to eat a lot of our units. But since I have the 6-star power, my units are going to be strong, and I'm not super concerned about it. And so here, if we were to keep this hand, we actually can't play an equipment on a unit, but I do like having that mana gem on Fortune Croaker, so I'm going to keep it anyway. Again, regarding hand space, it's full right now, and honestly, that's okay. We're going to get it down. We couldn't play Steadfast Elnuk and the Darken Halberd because we can't equip the Darken Halberd here. We do have an attack token if we want to take it because of domination, but obviously, like, attacking is pointless. I'm gonna go ahead and toss the Darken Harp on him. This will let us attack. Maybe not into... Yeah, we're still good to attack into Tahm Kench here. And we can attack first, and then decide what to play next. My guess is we're going to be playing this Fortune Croaker. I'm just gonna skip dealing damage to my ally. That seems worse right now. Because of Disciple of Shadows, if I do play Aatrox here, it's gonna kill both of these units. That's not terrible. I'm not like super opposed to doing that. So we'll go ahead and equip one of them so that he doesn't die, and then we'll drop Aatrox here. We kill one of the Fortune Croakers, but we get an Aatrox on the board. And this other guy's fine anyway. We can't attack with him this round because the Tahm Kench has too much life, but we should be able to attack soon. We can drop Steadfast Elnuck here. Again, can't attack with him. We can attack with Aatrox. And our goal now is to get the World Ender to be playable. We can attack again with Aatrox here. He'll probably play second Tahm Kench, would be my guess. And if he doesn't, we're pretty good. One thing we can do, our World Ender is at 4, so we just need to save 4 mana here. Let's say, play a Forsaken Buckeye. Doesn't matter what we predict, we're planning on winning this round. There's second Tahm Kench. He could eat one of our units. That's something to think about. If we equip Aatrox with something other than the Darkened Blade, the Darkened Blade becomes unequipped. We can then equip it onto a unit, and then when we play World Ender, we get to Aatrox. The Aatrox that we already have in play, and we assimilate anything with the Darkened Blade into an Aatrox. So the baseline deck for Aatrox only comes with Chorel, which is the Darkened Aegis, and Balkux, which is from the Darkened Staff. So other Darkened units are created by his 2-star ability. Here we have the option to take the Darkened Fan if we want. This is a good source of lifesteal from Pra the Breachwalker. I'm not going to do that. I'm probably just going to take this Mariah Songstress instead. I don't want to flood my deck with equipment. And we can take Power Riff on Aatrox. Power Riff is basically always good. And we'll go into Poppy.
You want me? Well, okay.
So we're going to keep the Steadfast Elkin, and we're going to keep the Darkened Harp because it's our only equipment in hand right now. We're not going to be able to equip the Steadfast Elkin with the Darkened Harp, but we can go ahead and play Fortune Croaker to get some extra mana. Darkened Harp is good because it has Quick Attack on it. It turns into Stai Ratu, and that's an 8-cost 8/6, whose power is attack draw 2, then reduce those cards' cost by 2. Here we can also drop Steadfast Elkin. Can't attack with him quite yet. Guess we could have, he wouldn't have died. But we can now give... Oh no, I put that on the wrong guy. Okay, well don't put your thing on the wrong guy. They switched places and I wasn't paying attention. So because of Armed to the Teeth, these things will survive Disciple of Shadows. Normally they would not. And we get to attack your monkey. Again, if you have a 3-star, it's not going to look like this. You're going to have to survive a lot more rounds. You can take a lot less attacks, But as soon as you can play World Ender, then it does start looking pretty similar. And maybe I'll play a slower round just to show kind of what that would look like. And take second Power Rift. And we don't want this power. Don't want that. Don't want that. Enfeebling is fine. And we go into a Jhin with Unguilty Determination. A lot of times I'll save my rerolls for actual power nodes instead of shops because I just don't like paying for things, I guess. Keep the Darken Aegis in hand since it's our only equipment, although we do create two, so we didn't necessarily need to hold it. And here we do get the Darken Ballista and the Darken Harpoon.
Let's get it, crew.
And we can go ahead and drop Aatrox first because he's free. Then we can play Forsaken Bakai. And we can take Golden Aegis here. And the Darkened Ballista turns into Naganenka of Sureta, who is a 5/3 with Overwhelm, cost of 8, round end the strongest enemy and I strike each other. As an equipment, it just gives you +2 power. And the Darkened Harpoon turns into Ibaros, which has +1/+1 for each card you've drawn this game. It can only be blocked by enemies with 4 or more power, and he costs 9. So that's just, I don't know, if you want to know what other Darkened equipments exist. I didn't go over those in my video, because they weren't part of his natural deck. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of random what you get anyway, so you just kind of play it as you see it. I don't think it's like super relevant, I guess. But it is good to know because since you're creating these dark cards, you will run into them fairly frequently. Although they're kind of all interchangeable most of the time. Here I'm going to attack in a bad way. The appropriate way to attack would be like this. And then it would only do 6 damage. If I attack like this, we're actually healing them because they have Unguilty Determination. And the reason for doing this is because I wanted to show what the World Ender looks like when we're using it for its summoning power instead of just as a game ender. I'm gonna go ahead and cast the World Ender here. And normally here we would just attack and win the game. But you can also see that these things are cost reduced. This guy normally costs 9, and now he costs 2. And this guy normally costs 8 and he costs 1. They probably got hit with some cost reduction from the equipment. And that is Naganenka's power to round end the strongest enemy and I strike each other. So normally what happens if you don't have a 6-star is you'd be able to play these cards here. This guy has double Philosopher's Stone, which is questionable on whether you want to play that or not. But you can see that he's huge from both the +1/+1 for every card you've drawn this game, and the doubling from the 6-star power. And then the Darkened Staff you could play as Balkooks. So these guys are really expensive normally, and we're playing them at a very discounted cost. And so they're bigger than they would normally be, but they're game winning even when they're not this side. We'll just go ahead and pull Jhin in there and attack. So that's normally what it looks like if you're at 3-star, not at 6-star. At 6-star, because of the double stats, just attacking with Aatrox tends to win the game. We'll take double attack. That sounds pretty good. Scout might be better because it's still kind of double attack. And here we can take treacherous terrain is probably fine. And we're going to go into this champion item chest, so we have to go through Sejuani. Sejuani's main threat is Shatter, and that just slows us down. It doesn't actually do anything bad. We'll keep one Steadfast Elf in here, and also the Darkened Staff. We'll be able to play both of those on turn 1. But we'll start with Aatrox because the 2 power rips makes it free. So you do get hit with Shatter here.
Ready the torches. Alert the village.
And we got cost reduction on Furious Builder from the attack of our Steadfast Elkin.
The winter's claw strikes. I am doom.
And every time we attack, we'll reduce the cost of World Ender. Keeper of the Box is one of the better cards in the deck. What it does is give us lifesteal, and if we put equipment on it, it becomes fairly sizable. So it is able to survive pretty well. Go ahead and remove the unit to reduce the cost of World Ender even more. It's not going to matter because we have double attack on Aatrox here, but that is normally how you would do it. After that attack, we'd be able to play World Ender and get a second attack because of Crown Guard Inheritance, which is why I like Crown Guard Inheritance. Take another Fortune Croaker. Go to the champion item chest and pick up Scout, which is funny. Zoe is easier than Ashe for us. Ashe, especially with level up, is going to be kind of problematic. She has a lot of Frostbite in her deck. And when they Frostbite huge units, those units are less good. I keep both Tahm Kench in hand. This will force us to draw Aatrox. But it starts with Zed because hit with Treacherous Terrain. We're going to drop a Fortune Croaker here. May as well attack, I guess. We weren't quite able to reduce the cost of Aatrox to 0 because we didn't Farsight Alteration this Tahm Kench. But we are able to do it this round. It will kill this Fortune Croaker, but we're okay with that. And we do get hit with Ashe's Shatter. The unfortunate part about that is we're pretty much never going to be able to attack with him again. He's going to stay shattered for the rest of the game. But I'm fine getting rid of his Darkened Blade. That'll let us get a couple attacks in with our Scout and double attack. And those will all become cost reduction. Play the Fortune Croaker because it came free. And we'll also play the Darkened Blade for the same reason. And then we can attack again. This will give us 3 more cost reductions. So now we have a free Tahm Kench. And a free Deathbringer Sweep. Which again, we're probably never going to be able to play. Ashe is not exactly a counter for Aatrox, but it definitely slows him down.
I think not.
I think we just attack here.
Lead the target.
Light the signal fire.
Our opponent is out of mana. which means that we are free to world end.
Runeterra must die!
Because I gave the Darkened Blade to this Fortune Croaker, the Fortune Croaker is going to become an Aatrox.
Awaken!
Yeah, he doesn't inherit the Scout or the double attack, this other one, but I mean, being an Aatrox is still pretty good. And we can play Styrock. And we can play Tarush. We don't need to do either of those things, but it is fun. So part of the reason I don't go over what those units do is because usually by the time you play it, you're winning the game. And so it doesn't really matter what they do. They're just stats more than anything. They do have powers though, and those powers are usually pretty good. We take a Fergus Wielder upgrade there, and Slow and Steady actually doesn't do anything because we don't have slow spells. We can take Fast Steal to just draw an extra card though. Duplicate Azir is much harder than Power Overwhelming Jinx, so the safer way is to go up. We're going to go ahead and go down so that we can take Incisive Tactician. But this is definitely a mistake in terms of easier boss pathing. I kept the Mirai Songstress because it's a unit that is playable. And we didn't have another unit that was playable. As you can see here, our hand is our champions and this Mirai Songstress, and that's it. We play Aatrox for free. And we drop Mirai Songstress. And honestly, this wins the game, so it's fine. Obviously, we got ridiculous powers on Aatrox.
Yes! Oblivion!
I'm going to take an extra copy here of the Darkened Staff and then remove it from the deck. And here we can trade one of our powers. Obviously we don't want to get rid of these two. Not attached to Fast Steal though. So we'll get rid of that. And we got stacked against them instead. And I said I was going to get rid of the Darkened Staff here. And I changed my mind. It's the 1-cost equipment, so it's kind of important. We'll get rid of the Darkened Aegis though. We go into Darius with Unyielding Determination. Alright, we keep our Steadfast Elkin. Steadfast Elkin costs 0 because it's stacked against them that we picked up. Our Aatrox also costs 0. And we can attack him with the... Oh wait, it's Unyielding Determination. Yeah, I should have Scout attacked first and then did that. We can use equipment as a heal, so in this case this Elkin was down to 1 hit point, but because of the Darkened Harp giving +2, and Arm to the Teeth giving another +2, he's up to 5 hit points now. So I'm attacking with everything here even though he has Scout, because the number of attacks will reduce World Ender to playable, and we can take advantage of Crown Guard Inheritance and just attack again. Here, if we needed to, we could now use our Scout attack and then attack with everything. It really doesn't matter. And as you can see, our transformed units are huge. And we want to avoid Shadow Totem because it'll give the Darkened Blade to the clone. So we can take Augment, I guess. But the thing that we want right now is Spell Shield, and we'll go ahead and take Mana Flow here. So we'll take Unyielding Determination Z, even though Fizz is much easier, because we want the shop. If you're worried about how many cards are in your deck, you can go the other way for the healer. I don't know, I kind of prefer powers. Go ahead and drop Forsaken Bekai here and predict Golden Aegis.
Showtime. Coming at ya.
Nope. Yeah, I don't think there's a point in blocking. We're not getting a cost reduction because he's not equipped yet, and he is a cultist, not a Darken. Give him the Darkened Harp because it has quick attack on it, and then we'll drop Aatrox. He does have Unyielding Determination, and I remembered that. So we go ahead and attack with our Scout attack. We can now play our Mirai Songstress for free. We can also get a Blooming Cultist down. Then we want to attack in a way that's most productive. So you attack with the minimum to reduce the next health to 0, and then kind of lead up. And they give us more copies of Aatrox, so we'll take that. So here we can get some things for our cards, but it's unnecessary. Although Nora's Tea technically isn't very bad. That would give us a unit, which is something we struggle with. And we get Offered Evolution, which of course we take. And we go into Lulu, Perfected Mana Flow. So this is basically a dream run, but... well, it's basically a dream run, I guess there's no but about it. I guess the but here is sometimes that happens. And when it happens, you know, enjoy it. One thing I could have done here was played Aatrox, and then played the equipment, the Darkened Staff, on Aatrox, and then Aatrox is played on the Steadfast Elkin. Had I done that, I could have world ended and created 2 Aatrox. Not that it matters because we're winning in one hit.
Finally, I am freed of this madness.
I'll take the Mirai Songstress here just because I don't want more equipment. We go into Aurelia with Power Overwhelming. Aurelia is maybe one of the worst things you can ever run into on the Aurelion Sol run. But obviously we're not going to have a problem. If we don't play a unit here, we're not going to be able to take advantage of the stack against them. We don't necessarily need to take advantage of that, but it just feels bad not to, I guess. We'll go ahead and drop Aatrox here. I should have equipped him first. I somehow forgot that while I was talking. It's fine. Also, we were missing some life from getting hit, but dropping Aatrox gave us 2, and then Stalker's Blade gave us 2 more back. So it completely repaired our Nexus. I took Violent Discord for no particular reason there. What I would like at this point would have been to get Spell Shield on Aatrox, because we're open to getting hit with Celestial Wonder and Moonlight Affliction, but I think it'll be okay. Nothing's really bothered us yet. Since he drops Moonlight Dreamer, or Moon Dreamer, we win the game. We can drop Steadfast Elnuck here, or Elkin rather. I don't know how many times I've said Elnuck during this run. And we can do, like I said, give the Darkened Staff to Aatrox, and the Darkened Blade over to our Elkin. We can take our Scout attack, and that automatically wins the game. But if it didn't, we'd be filling up spell mana, so we could use World Ender. Anyway, that is our run with Aatrox. A bit of a dream run, but it's the run that we were handed when I decided to record this, so it's the run we took. I actually did one a little bit earlier, and I got Duplicate as the first power, so I redid it for this run instead. The 6-star is very powerful, the 4-star is very powerful. Mana Gem would also be powerful, I just haven't gotten there yet. One of the reasons why I chose to invest in Aatrox first is because I don't like how he plays at 3-star. It's a little too slow, a little too unstable. Once he gets rolling, it's still very good, but until then it's not, and I figured having just massive units as soon as you play World Ender would be fun, and I was right, it is. It's very fun. I really enjoy Aatrox in that context. Anyway, that is it. Hope you enjoyed. If you like what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.